Welcome back to turn 7, 160th playthrough. Second Battle of Kernstown, July 1864. We're up to end of turn 7, 2 p.m. turn. Here's the situation on the map. I figured I want to show you this first. Confederates had a good turn this turn, as you can see. They've pushed back, but the Union line is still holding. They are still doing a pretty good job holding out. The Confederate attacks, even though they're making progress, they're not really getting a lot of damage. They did knock out a couple of units, which I'll show a little bit later. But Confederates are not getting real solid attacks in there. A lot of routine close combats and a lot of routine shots that are coming in from the Confederates. Unions not having much better luck. They're getting a lot of misses and things like that on there as well. So what has happened? You can see the center, pretty much Gordon's units, Rhodes's units have continually pushed up here. They've pushed back here, a few more hexes. They've got firm control, even though there's nothing on it, of Pritchard's Hill right now, as Ely's units were pretty battered here. Same with Harris up here for the Union, and they've had to retreat back. Over here, the line is wavering a little bit. We've got Wells coming in here to kind of fill the gap if he can. Last couple turns, he has not been able to activate and had limited activations. So it's been a little bit tough on that side. On the Union left, Confederate right, you can see over here, Hayes' flank is starting to be turned. Breckinridge is moving up. Forsberg and Patton and Smith up here to kind of turn them. And then the bigger thing is to the north, where you can see up here is we have the cavalry, Ransom's cavalry, Johnson's and McCausland's, trying to push and get the Valley Turnpike from behind and kind of cut off that retreat path and force the Union to go more off-road to the north rather than being able to use the turnpike over there. Tibbets have come over to block them. Powell tried to charge McCausland when he was back over here. That failed. You can see that one of Powell's units, the 2nd West Virginia Cavalry, was reduced and had a morale hit. And they had to retreat back over there. You can see also Shoemaker is still up on the hill. He's going to have to try to get back, but he had a limited activation in the last turn there as well. So a lot of pushing in the middle. We've had some pretty good attacks. There was a rebel yell here, right over in here, which knocked out the 91st Ohio. That was reduced, and that was knocked out by Cox, but wound up being a BD on a severe blow. This is the type of rolls that the commander's having. So consequently, it wasn't a 3-1. So Cox had to actually reduce in there. He had a morale hit from before, but he had to reduce on there as well. So a little bit of a tough battle here for the Confederates to get the push on here. Same thing with Evans over here. He tried to push, or they did push back Ely Wells, but you notice 2 units were reduced because of that, either through direct fire or through the combat with a BD result over here. One good thing is that Ramseur's units, Johnson actually activated, Lilly is activated, and Lewis activated. And you can see they pushed back over here against Ely quite a bit. But again, Lewis took, the 1st, 6th, 21st North Carolina took a hit over there as part of that. So they were reduced, and you notice there's a morale hit on them as well. So Confederates are taking some damage here and finding it very hard to push and hard to eliminate units, Union units across here. So the Union is kind of held out, but obviously they lost Pritchard's Hill, so I think they're going to have to start thinking about pulling back here, particularly with McCausland and Johnson closing in on their rear and the flanks kind of falling here as well. I think they've got to try to figure out how to push back somewhere over here, wait a couple more turns, and then start bugging out from the battle itself. Confederates need to keep pushing, try to get around them, cut them off, and kind of go from there. So let's take a look at how the activations looked this time around. And I'll bring you over here and kind of tip you down and zoom you out a little bit. Hopefully you can see all of the chits over here. A little bit tough to see, but I'll kind of walk them through. Union started out with a rally, which was pretty good. Then Ely activated, tried to get some shots, but didn't do anything. Powell, that's where he did his cavalry charge. The Brigade Reserve movement, Harris, and then Confederates started with Lewis, Brigade Reserve movement. Firefight failed with Fortunes of War. We had Smith, McLaw's hand, Crook didn't activate. Wells didn't activate over here too as well, but we did have Johnston and Cox activating. Ramseur's final one over here, Ransom's final one over here with both Johnson activating over there as well. Averill, Shoemaker didn't get to do it. And then towards the end of the turn, Gordon came alive. Evans did his attack. Duvall didn't get anything. Breckinridge had Forberg do his attack to wind things out. Rhodes came in with a command confusion, battle came in from Rhodes' division. Command confusion came out for that one and wound up being a defend, I think, afterwards. Then we had a firefight. Early tried to push an attack there by Battle on there as well, and kind of went from there. And then Union fatigue was used to try to get try to get Breckinridge's attack going, and it actually succeeded. So he can actually surprise attack somewhere in the future here, the future turns. So we're going to kind of think about that. One's going to be the good time to have his surprise attack, where that's where he can move all of his units and one fall swoop and go after the Union from there. Okay, and then taking a look at our broken track and VPs over here. I'll tip you up a little bit and zoom you in. There we go. And there we go over there. That works, I think. So you can see over here we've got still Ely and Lytton. Actually, Lytton got one back. They actually did a rally and actually got one back on the board, so that got him some victory points back. We still see we've got Terry's 2 units here off in the broken track, and then Johnson, this is the one I told you about before, and then Ely lost the 4th West Virginia this past turn as well. So a few more, but again, not a lot of casualties for either side as we continue along here. So looking back here, I'll give you one final shot of the end of turn 7. We'll be moving on to turn 8. We'll see what happens up to the north. We'll see how the Union reacts, and if the southern side can push the center a little bit more. There's a couple of weak points in there I didn't point out before. Higgins is still on here with his dismounted cavalry. That's a weak point. He's facing a lot of Rhodes units down there as well, so we may see something over there, but we'll see. And the same thing over here on the left. So stay tuned for turn 8. Thanks for watching. Oh, welcome back to Kernstown 1864, Second Battle of Kernstown 1864. We're up to turn 8. We just finished turn 8, and first off, just apologies for the glare. It's a sunny early morning here, and I wanted to get this video in as quickly as I could because I've got more things to do today. So just wanted to bring you up to speed where we're at. End of turn 8, 2:20 p.m., which was just played on this. And the situation for the Confederates has not improved, I guess. The Union, it's actually improved. you can actually see here with the Union still essentially have a solid line here. There are some threats. You can see over here, Hayes has been pushed back by Breckinridge's troops, but Breckinridge, you notice the units have been reduced up here, and there's a morale hit there. There's another reduced back here. So they're going to have to spend some time getting back up to speed over there as well. The cavalry over here got pushed back. Let me actually zoom in on that a little bit for you. So I want to show you how that actually played out here. If I can tip it back up here. There we go. And there we go. So McLaw's land was over here. He's almost to the toll gate right there. And then Tibbetts activated and came over. Now, if you notice Tibbetts, his units have a cohesion of 4. And there's one reduced now, but there's another one with 3 over there as well. And McLaw's land's only a 2. And that caused problems for McLaw's land because Tibbetts attacked and was able to knock one off to retreat, but it had to retreat off the board. It was actually located in this hex right here, and he couldn't go backwards over here, so he had to retreat actually off the board to make it. Sorry, he was actually on this hex because he advanced into it afterwards, but he could not retreat given the situation and where things were and how things were. So he had to pull back, realizing that his units were in threat, just because the difference in cohesion was so big from Tibbetts that he was pushed back. Johnson moved up a little bit to support him, but Powell is over here blocking him, and Powell has a little bit better cohesion than he does as well. So the cavalry kind of swooping around the back kind of got pushed back. And they're still a threat, but the Union cavalry is still there and can counter the threat there as well. So the Union left flank is fairly stabilized. Let's tip you back down here and take a look at the center of the attack here. The second problem for the Confederates here was this area right in here. Grimes and Cox and Battle tried to advance up here. Grimes went first, trying to attack this cavalry, thinking that this dismounted cavalry was kind of a pushover, low cohesion, low firepower, fragile units. But they have carbines, and those carbines, in some strange manner, rolled double 6s for this defensive fire and double 6s for this defensive fire. This pushed back, or this reduced this unit here, the sharpshooter brigade, and then there's another one. Where did he go? Oh, he's over here, I believe. Yep, there he is. He was reduced there as well as part of that. So the cavalry doing very well with their carbines in terms of holding off the Confederate attack over here. Cox also tried to come up. They came up to try to attack Johnson here, and they were repulsed and had to fall back here as well. So that wasn't very good for the Confederates. Also, the Union placed good ground over here on this artillery, made it a little bit tougher for Battle to engage over here, so he kind of slid to his left a little bit, trying to get up and around, because you can see this was the one success for the Confederates. Again, pushing back a little bit more over here. Evans has moved up his units here to potentially attack next turn, and a little bit defensive fire over here as well that provides some morale hits and retreats and such over here as well. To the Confederate left, Union right, Rancer had a tough turn with activations. He got Lilly and Lewis activated, but Johnston did not activate this turn. So there's a little bit of recovery here, particularly for Lily. Lily tried to recover. They did help out the artillery right there as well to get rid of morale hits. Lewis up here tried to shoot, but really nothing, no effect up here as well. So they couldn't really do anything. Same time on the Union side, Wells did not really do anything. A little bit of movement back over here, but just repositioning to support, that the Union right flank with it there as well. So Confederates had some good chits. They did have Rebel Yell. They had they did put in Command Confusion, but that was got knocked out by Fortunes of War and other things. Just unlucky with dice rolls for the attacks, particularly here in the center. If this had broken through over here, this would be a much different story. Hayes would be in trouble. These guys would be in trouble over here, there as well. So that's pretty much the what happened at 220, the turn 8 turn on that. What we're looking at over here for chits, let me move you over here and we'll take a look at the chits. I just mentioned, kind of what the chits look like during the draw, but it started out Union Brigade Reserve Movement. Smith failed an activation. We had Patton, Vaughn, Firefight, Wells, Grimes had Command Confusion, which you couldn't do, which turns into a defensive fire, but that didn't work out. Then Command Confusion was picked for Fortunes of War. Then early activated Grimes again. That's where the assault came that failed. Jackson failed. Johnson failed for the Union. Lewis, Forberg, Lytton, and or Jackson, and then Johnson down here. Then Terry, then Harris failed. Fogg, which was Battlefield Confusion. Hayes, York. Confederates did get a rally, which did help. I'm forgetting who that helped now. I think it was Evans, because then Evans moved forward somewhere below here. I can't see it now, but he did activate to move up. Oh, right there, right afterwards. He moved up. Ely failed, had to do defensive. Rebel Yell was tried, that failed. Union rally, and then Tibbetts moved into the attack. This is where Tibbetts attacked, which I talked about before. Shoemaker and Powell both failed, but they were in decent position. Johnston failed. Higgins failed. Then Lilly, McCausland, Cook failed. Cox, Battle, and then finally Crook was a held shit. And he actually activated with a 1. So he did get something over there as well. So the next thing here we have is our tracks. Let me move this down. You can see it a little bit better. And I will tip that up a little bit so you can see it, and I'll zoom in a little bit. There we go. So that's where we're at. The Union is now down to 9 victory points. Confederates took away 2 more as part of their holding Pritchard's Hill. You can see the broken track, still fairly light, but a few more on there. We've got 2 for Ely, 1 for Lytton, Johnson for the Union, Lewis, Terry for the Confederates. All those are ready to be recovered potentially. And then Hayes on broken 1 and McCausland on broken 2. So that's pretty much where we're at. So I thank you for watching, and again, like the video, please leave a comment, and we will move on to turn 9 for the next one. Thanks for watching. Okay, we're back with the 2:40 p.m. turn 9, Second Battle of Kernstown, July 1864. Playing with the Revolution Games module. So here we are, turn 9. Here's the situation here. The Union, although they're holding out, took some serious damage here in the last half of the turn. Breckinridge, right here on the Confederate right, Union left, was able to get Patton and Smith a line to attack Hayes, and you can see Hayes took some serious blows here with the units. A couple units pushed back, although we have one funny little story here that I'll tell in a second. Pushed back out of the woods, morale hits, so forth, so on going on. Now, the real funny story is this unit here, this 5th West Virginia, was being attacked by the 60th North Carolina in this hex here. Yes, this hex here. And they were at full strength, 60th. So they were at 5 strength. There we go. When they attacked. And they were reduced already. All right. So they had a really good attack going along here. I can't remember what it was, but it started on the 5 column. Oh yeah, it had several shifts because he was actually with his morale hit over here. He was down to a C essentially on here. So it had a 3-to-1 advantage plus the CR. So put it 1, 2, 3, 4. Put it up to the 12 column. So we're like, oh, okay, this is probably going to be at least a tough result, if not severe, on there. Rolled a 1-2, which resulted in close fight. And with that, they again rolled a 2-5 that flipped him, and he got to retreat back out of there. So we lived to fight another hour at least on there as well. So a very, very odd result over here. But overall, the attack was successful, pushed him out of the woods. Union left flank is now really in trouble. Johnson's unit was hit here by Cox. Had a tough fight through here. They were able to put up a pretty good stand, and Cox was reduced as part of his fight. Johnson just had to retreat. And then the other thing, Higgins, that cavalry that was out there in the center, that was right in here, they got hit hard by Cox. Sorry, Johnson was hit by Patton, and they actually lost one unit. The 20th PA was actually lost, and the 22nd was retreated with a morale hit on there as well. So Union left flank is in tough troubles, but Confederates, a lot of reduced and morale hits over here as well. So they're not in a position of following up fairly quickly on there as well. Johnson over here, while I'm here with the cavalry, he repositioned over here to cover the flank, keep Powell away. McLeod's land is just moving back out of here so he doesn't get bothered by Tibbets. Shoemaker, from the Union perspective, lost another cavalry unit. So there's essentially 5 more victory points for the Confederates with that, because those are eliminated units on there. In the center and Confederate left, Union right, that seems to be holding pretty well. Wells has repositioned along here, exchanged a few shots over here, but Confederates are really trying to regroup, and they're trying to regroup to hold out over there. But again, we're closing in. Actually, next turn is a 3 p.m. turn, so the Union can start moving units off. And I think some of these will start streaming back, like Ely. Some of Mulligan's units will move back there as well to try to get off the board as quickly as possible that are in tough shape. So that will kind of be the plan. The Confederates over here are in good shape. Evans is in good shape to attack. Terry and York still need to recover. Ramsayer's units, Lewis, Lilly, and Johnson. Lewis is in decent shape. Lilly is also in decent shape. Johnson needs to recover a little bit over here, and try to make some ground in there as well. Now, in terms of the chip pulls, let me go over to that, show you what that looks like over here, and also show you the turn track. So here we have what it started out with. Started out with Johnson, firefight rally for the Confederates. Then we had Hayes Grimes, Harris, Brigade Reserve movement. Terry failed, Brigade movement. We can see here with this, the failures this time, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Confederate failures. Limited activations, I should say. Union at 2, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they had 6. So roughly about the same. We're averaging now about 5 or 6 per turn. That doesn't happen. Fortunes of War knocks out Crook, but he's a 1, so it's really, if we get him, we get him. If not, on there as well. And then the Union had Battlefield Chaos on that one Johnson unit. I forget which one it was now. Back over here with it. So Confederates are making some decent progress overall. Take a look at the broken track here, and I'll zoom in here a little bit. And we need to recenter you a little bit. There we go. So you can see we're up to turn 10. We're about to go on to the second row of the turn track. There's the 2 eliminated units from Shoemaker and Higgins. Unit is down to 9 turn victory points for this. Will keep losing, and Confederates ultimately have that. So I figure they're going to get 16 victory points out of that. Union now has to concentrate on getting off the board, as I mentioned before. We do have more coming over here to be capable of recovering, so we'll start to see this a little bit more over the next few turns. 4 for the Union, 2 for the Confederates. We've got 2 more, 1 each for the Union coming on next turn as well. So we may start to see at least the Union rally chit holding for that. Confederates need to kind of drive off more units and kind of get behind them to keep them from retreating. But it's a tough little battle here, as we could see. Confederates are making some headway, but it's a tough situation, as you can see down here, with the way the number of units have been broken. I shouldn't say broken, battle worn on there as well. So stay tuned for turn 10, the next one. Second Battle of Kernstown, July 1864. Thanks for watching.